150%. Um, this is Official Railway Equipment Registry book. I got 1984. Rule 1. Loading of foreign cars. Changing effective May 1st, 1986. Unless covered by the Transportation Division order, or directive foreign cars may be loaded without regard to the route or destination. Alright. Rule 2. Foreign cars needed for loading, changing effective May 1st, 1986. Unless covered by transportation order, the directive foreign cars and that need to be loaded may be delivered to a home road at any junction section. Rule 6. Forwarded with the rule originally received under the load junction where received, except for when handled in road hauling services cars direct connection. Ownership may not be empty to a road which does not have a direct connection with the car owner. If the junction were received under load as also a junction with the car owner, the car must be delivered to the owner. The junction returned to the delivery road when handled only in switching services unless junction with the home road. Rule 3. Upon request, the railroad, provided with the criteria established by the committee of the car service, are met with the Transportation Division will issue a car quota. Directive provided assistance with specific car types, car grades, miscellaneous ownership from the direct connections only. Such orders are intended to provide prompt empty delivery with a specific number of unrestricted cars per week. 2. Upon request, car owner, the Transportation Division will, without regard to criteria issued, directive requiring cars a specific type of grade of the unrestricted junction with a home road to be A. Loaded with the junction 2 or B of the home rails, delivered empty to the junction with home rail, both A and B above, and 3. Upon request of the car owner, the Transportation Division will issue an order the directive to the car distribution purposes. What criteria established with the committee of the car service are met when the Transportation Division finds it necessary to issue the directive, such that the directives may require that the owner's car specific type of the grade be loaded closer to the owning road, loaded to the home region, loaded to the V of the owning road, loaded to the owning road, return to the empty owned road, handled under any restrictions that meet the requirements of prevailing circumstances. 4. The above directive may subject the carrier's assessment by the Transportation Division to failure to comply with it provided by the Car Rule Number 19, Section G. Note to Car Service Rules 2 and 3. Junction as used in the rules means station where railroad interchange cars are common point with which limiting over their own lines, or intermediate lines or carry ferry or float when such limits. Roads are interchanged with the cars should be considered direct connection. The information should be published with the Official Railway Equipment Register when the interchange is over. Other than the own rails channels through the interchange is affected must be shown. Rule 4. Car flowing balance. Upon the request of the Railroad Transportation Division of the AAR may direct the administrator of the car flow balancing system between the railroad and other railroads where agreed to such system covering the cars of their respective ownership. Rule 5. Movement of empty cars changing effective May 1st, 1986. Empty cars may be short routed to the reciprocal penalty charge of 35 cents per mile plus switching charges with a minimum of 100 miles of each of the road handling cars. The requesting road must be out prior to concurrence with the handling lines of the road. Requesting the service will pay with the mileage charges, switching charges, and car hire mileage allowances cost according with the handling lines. No empty cars where shorted in accordance with the where car service rules should be moved on empty car waybills. The road arranging for the service to pay the charges. Under no circumstances should the revenue waybill be issued with charges for such movement. Note B. The switch charges is defined in charges assessed under the applicable tariff by the railroad which does not perform any line and process of short route movement. Interpretations. Question. Does the loading of the use of the car being handled with the Rule 5 nullify the right of the road performing the service collect for any of the portion of service rendered? Answer. Yes. October 1st, 1925. Rule 6. Return of empty cars. In movement of traffic that requires the return of the empty car to the home road with a view to the connection with the cars were delivered and interchanged under the load. The home road may be determined by empty cars as such junctions, except for the cars offered for the home road repairs. Accordance with the interchange rules of mechanical division, must be accepted by the owner at any junction point. Notice of the intent on the part of any of the road invoking the provisions of the rule shall be issued designed for transportation of the officer to be designated transportation officer of the road to which the notice is addressed. With the notice to specify the type of the cars, particularly the junction points involved. Such notice may not limit the acceptable individual car previously delivered, may require return of equivalent number of home cars of type specified junction where delivered loaded. Interpretation. The word movement of traffic in this rule means movement regardless through any of the junction point of the kind for one of the same class of the car. On cars subject to Rule 6, give the railroad delivered regularly to the connection through a junction of traffic of any kind or on the cars of the same class the right requiring connection participating in the handle with the traffic of the junction point to use point of interchange of the return class for the empty cars of service instead of returning them to some other function unless variable to the received owing railroad April 25th, 1923. Rule 7. Interchange error movements. Change effective May 5th, 1986. Cars should be considered having been delivered connecting to the railroad placed upon the track agreed designated as the interchange with the track of the service deliveries accompanied preceded by the necessary date of the forwarding, issuing, delivery accepted by the car inspector or receiving of the receiving road. Notwithstanding the foregoing paragraph, the receiving road shall be responsible for the car's contents and car hire after receipt of the proper date. Forwarding, insuring, deliver the responsibility should continue to respect the car rejected by in-car inspection of the receiving road until such cars are returned delivered in the road. The effect of the paragraph may be altered by special arrangement made between the roads concerned. Each railroad which due to the efficient economical railroad practice the condition between the carrier's contract will interchange within 24 hours after arrival and release interchange station. All cars will properly be may interchange in accordance with the provisions of Section 1 of this rule, subject to the following expectations of B and D inclusive. B. Cars covered in embargo. B. C. Cars written with a telegraphic notation. Note, given that the intended of the receiving the station stating that is unable to receive. D. The car which cannot be physically upon designated interchange track. 3. When interchange requires Section 2, Paragraph A of the rule cannot be accomplished, the provision of Car Rule 15 will be applied. 4. In the event of the loaded cars are placed interchange traction without necessary data of the forward receiving carrier will give the telegraphic notification note to delivering the car of such forward data and upon request, carrier delivered without the proper forwarding data. The receiver of the cars will return such cars to deliver carrier to designate interchange of the receiving of the car may be delivered to the proper proper carrier within the same switching district in which the delivering carrier will pay the penalty of 75 cents per dollar per car. Note that 3 and 6 of the carrier return with the delivery in the car of the proper carrier. The intermediate switching on the carrier is usually disposing of such car with the same switching district. Any intermediate switching car hire acceptable. Alright, Rule 7 continued. Those for which switching cars are directly responsible will be paid for the line hauling delivery. Note 4. In the event of receiving carrier with the proper carrier to deliver the road does not furnish the necessary data for the forwarding 2 hours, the request for the data made with the delivering carrier will pay a penalty of 75 cents per dollar, 75 cents dollars per car to the receiving carrier. The provisions does not apply with the forwarding data of the weighted for the shipper been served with the delivering carrier, in which the case the cars which subject to demurrage charges under the provision of Item 1620 published in General the Car Demurrage Rules charges. Alright, when cars are held with the receiving of the car carrier awarding the disposition necessary forwarding data, delivery card of the penalty of $5 per car will be assessed receiving the carrier against the delivery carrier. Note 4, for each of the day of the fraction thereof Cars held with the first 12:01 a.m. for the written telegraphic notification. Note 2. Until distribution further delivering carrier, the provision does not apply with the forwarding data awaited for the shipper served the delivering carrier, which caused the car would be subject to demurrage charges under the provisions of Item 620 of the Published General Car Demurrage Rules and Charges. Or at the option of the receiving car, cars delivered in error may be 1. Returned to delivery carrier, 2. Delivered to the proper carrier within switching district, 3. Emptied and moved into the direction of the home road in accordance with the car service rule, 2. The special order of the direction for which the delivering carrier, Note 4, will pay the penalty of 75 cents per dollar per car. Note 3 and 6 of the car returned with the carrier delivering and forwarding it to the proper carrier. The receiving carrier must be given a written or telegraphic notice. Note 2, to delivery the carrier within 5 calendar days of the error delivery. Error deliveries for the purpose of this rule are defined as follows. Error deliveries involve loading cars. Deliver the road not to the waybill routing. Deliver the emptied equipment. No penalty with applicable to the revenue charge as assessed. B. Error deliveries involving empty cars. Delivery of the road not to the waybill routing, which should be accompanied with the waybill, but such waybill missing incomplete error with respect to the movement instruction. For purpose of the rule, last content of the empty car. Empty tank of cars is considered necessary for the waybill information for movement. 3. Delivered is loaded. 4. Delivered in violation of the car service rule. 2. Special car order directives. 5. Delivery and carrier switching service but not ordered by the carrier. C. Empty car received is not home. Receiving car with receiving carrier is not required to handle the car service rules or orders or directives of the Interstate Commerce Commission or the Transportation Division of the Association of American Railroads. Empty car received as the load when intermediate receiving carrier is not required to handle the car with this car service the inner orders of the directive of the D. Empty car received when intermediate switching carrier is used for the disposing of such car. The intermediate switching car hiring charges applicable except for the switching carrier is directly responsible to be paid with the delivering of the line hauling carrier. Alright, change in effect of the bill is made under the rule may be presented within 3 months but the last day of the month, and penalty charges occur if the carrier receiving must pay the undisputed arms return the explanation to the uniformed items within 3 months of the last day of the month which the bill was received. The privilege of the continuing disputed bill after receipt of either the interested road fails or returned to other within 3 months within the last day of the month in which it is last received. The delinquent roads for possible adjustment amount. Or the interpretations after the car has been accepted by the inspector of the receiving railroad is delivering the railroad with the responsibility for damage to the car and contents. Answer: yes. Question: where cars have been protected or accepted by the inspector of the receiving railroad, not accompanied with the preceding proper data for the recording for the forwarding and to ensure the delivery. If there is the receiver relieved from the responsibility for the damage of the car? No, but the rules give the right to the receiving car to refuse to accept the and interchange car with not accompanied with the receipt with the further by other data with the further inquired delivery with such cars not accepted the interchange, they are still possession of the road rule. When loaded with the freight car containing the shipment delivered to the station which there is no freight station which there is no freight agent, then non-agency station, a station which there is no freight agent build, collect and insufficient prepaid offer for the interchange for the accepted from the connecting carrier for the destination. January 25th, 1926. Note 5. Note 1. The carrier of the necessary data was determined with each of the receiving the road with accordance with these conditions. The service is involving the errors of the local service without noticing involving the errors of the run through the train's blocking must be sent by the person responsible for the local interchange point with the officer listed within the section official railway equipment register titled list of railways, private car company, the transportation lines, officers in charge. 5. The car distribution including the supply used for the cars and notification required. Rules method may be modified when agreed in writing by carriers involved. Note 3. No instances shall have more than one penalty set forth in the section paragraph Section 4, Paragraph A, and Section 5, assessed per car. Note 4, when intermediate switching carrier is acting in instruction of line haul carrier, the penalty set forth in Section 4 and 5 of this rule will be paid by the line haul carrier. Note 5. The rule of the American Association of Railroads Accounting Division may make provisions for the adjustment of freight cars between the originating and the delivery carrier. Note 6. Penalty reduced with $0 per car, effective 6 months period beginning May 1st, 1986, ending October 31st, 1986. Alright, Rule 8, Advertisement. The placing of an advertisement banner of any kind on any freight, passenger car, locomotive, including permanent stakes, which are part of the open-top carriers, is prohibited except advertisement banners may be placed thereon in photographic purpose only, which such equipment and the rest of the private car service cars of the railroad track where placed must be removed prior to the movement of the equipment. The placement removal to be any expense for the shipper and co-signing of the banner of advertisement to be painted upon the passenger equipment used for the special train movements expended for the painting removal to be borne by the use of this does not prohibit the placing of advertisement banners on the lighting or attaching them to temporary stakes used in the secure landing on the open top cars. Rule 9. Cars with the railway ownership Rule 9. Steamship, ferry, barge restriction. Cars of railway ownership must not be loaded or delivered to the steamship, ferry, or barge line with the transportation by water, except for the Transportation Interstate Commerce Commission and carries the water between points within the continental United States, not including Alaska, without permission of the owner, filled with the Transportation Division. Rule 10. Transferring landing. Unless otherwise agreed, the cost of the transferring of the rearranging, the loading of the landing of the freight cars should be assumed as follows. See the mail interchange for 9.2. 1. By the delivering of the road when the transferring arrangement load with the junction to do. A. Defective equipment that is not safe at the return of safe for the landing. B. Cars not loaded with the compliance with the rules governing the landing commodities in open top cars. C. Car loaded with the compliance with 42 series circular covering the loading of the car shipment to compliance with the closed car. D. Cars not loaded with compliant with the Department of Transportation regulation, transportation of explosive and other dangerous articles of the freight. E. Normal load with the bait becomes the concentrated overload with the shifting of the landing of the route. B2. Originating carrier either switching or road haul when the transfer rearrangement loading conjunction intermediate the point is due. Load excessive stenciled load limit. Load exceeds stenciled load limit. B. Overloaded violation rules governing loading of the commodities of the open top cars or 42C series circular C covering loading of the carrier load shipping of the commodities of the closed cars, except when landing becomes the concentrated overload due to the shifting on landing en route. Cars and or car parts prohibited interchange per Rule 90 unless waivers has been issued. 3. By originating road hauler with the road which originates the bill and participating with the road haul revenue, the transfer of the rearrangement with the landing of the junction intermediate with the point is due. Gross weight of the car, landing of the excess of the published weight. Restrictions indicated with the current issue for the public way railway line clearance dimension of the load open top of cars being set for the public clearance in any of the roads indicated in the route as shown in the current issue of the public rail line clearances. Closed cars will not publish when clearances any of the roads indicated with the routing is shown with the current issue of the publication rail line clearances. Cars which cannot pass and approve the third rail clearances of the Association of American Railroads are shown current issue of the publication rail line clearances. E. Cars which cannot be handled designated to exceeding the approved limits for the clearance of the AAR shown in the current issue of the publication rail line clearances. Cars with the door straight fixtures and handles and etc. No project per beyond on 10 foot 10 inches will consider it as meeting the approved limited clearance. See outline equipment diagram approved of the limited clearances shown in the current issue of publication rail line clearances. F. Car load with violation of the car service Rule 9 by the restriction of the road of the transfer rearrangement load of the junction intermediate point due to A. Cars which are properly loaded. B. Receiving the road's refusal of accept of the car accompanied with the authority to transfer adjusting landing. In such case, the delivering road should affect the transfer adjustment of such load render the bill versus the receiving road. Cars which cannot be handled to destination or result of disability of the receiving line or receiving road desiring to transfer to save the cost of the car hire. Alright, Rule 11, weighing responsibility. The first road haul carrier should be responsible for weighing all car loads, including those loaded with the terminal switching line for the outbound road haul. Unless otherwise agreed, the car loads delivered on one road haul carrier and another carrier weigh bills that do not show the weight or don't weigh endorsement in the weight blocked, and any of the carrier participating in the route, including the intermediate switching lines, may weigh the car. The originating road hauler shall pay the weighing carrier 75 $75 per car weighed. As evidence of the proper weight, notation shall be made with the weigh bill of the non-revenue car's movement of the weigh bill if used in accordance with the AAR's Accounting Division Freight Mandatory Rule number 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 33, and 34. As amended with requirements of information will appear on the weighted block portion of the weigh bill movement. The documentation will be in A, weight, and B, the authority to not weigh. D. Bills made under this rule may be presented within 3 months from the last day of the month, and penalty charges occur, but they must be accompanied by the copy of the weigh bill. The movement document the carrier receiving the such bills may be undisputed items return explanation for the unpaid items within 3 months for the last day of the month after the receipt. E. The point of loading complete will be considered the point of origin stop off the cars. The road haul carrier with which the loading is complete shall be responsible for the proper weighing of the car. Unless otherwise agreed, the road on which the car is loaded shall be responsible for the proper weighing car load, moving the interchangeable switching service which may, when weighing is required with the assessment of the freight charges. Short-line railroads are defined in Appendix B with the code of the car hire rules and freight that do not scale should not be making arrangements with the connection of the weighing cars loaded and handled in road haul on short line. Otherwise, provision of paragraph B apply. Note 11. Rule 11 does not apply to cars loaded with livestock, grain, soybean, perishable under refrigeration. Rule 12. Cars containing refuses. Cars containing refuses may be rejected for the receiving the road when offered interchange as empty. Rule 13, detour movements. When train is on one of the road, used for the track and another, avoiding washouts, other obstruction unless the arrangement can exist may be between the roads concerned. The detour shall be made under the terrain of the detour arrangement approved with the association with the terminal are made with the part of this rule. The road which the train is detoured shall pay the original hire with the mileage. The owner of the car, including the road owner of the track, if any of the cars shall be detoured, add mileage charges shall be actual distance over the route of the use. Note, when the agreement is entered, they shall be executed on the behalf of each of the company party, therefore executive officer thereof. Rule 14, contaminating commodities. Boxcars classed with a suitable grain loading better with the refrigerator cars must not be loaded with any of the contaminating commodities listed below if the load becomes necessary to renew the floors, lining, sheeting, including associated parts or proportion thereof in order to restore the car's previous loading classification becomes of the contamination due to such loading. The cost of the repair, notwithstanding of the provision of the rules, should be assumed by the road in either switching or road haul responsible for furnishing the car with such loading. Alright, animal products. Hides, pulps, skins, glue, stocks, manure, fertilizing compounds contaminating odor, meeting, refuse, offal, tankage, waste of the slaughtered animals, bones, horns, contaminated odor, dried blood, and towel. 2. Copra. 3. Fishing scrap, fish meal. 4. Shellfish in bulk. 5. Shells, clam, mussels, oyster, raw state with contaminating odor. 6. Asphalts, natural asphalt compounds, byproducts, petroleum. Cressitated material, lamp. 8. Lamp, black, carbon black, all types, graphite, black lead, plum gut, bago. B. The following commodities must not be loaded in the foreign box cars and classified suitable for the grain loading of the better refrigerator cars, except the such cars that are road participating with the haul may be used when such usage is used authorized by the owner. Battery parts such as cylinders, frames, and plates, and burned out scrap, charcoal, and bulk, and cloth bags, coal or chalk, coal, coke, ignite, or briskets container, empty such as barrels, cans, drums, and pails previously used with acid, asphalt, chemical, crazy tote, grease, oil, tower, tankage or similar containing commodities unless properly cleaned inside and outside, preventing contamination. 5. Cotton or other seed hulls, fiber or shavings when oily, dyed, or in bulk, the containers which would result in the contamination. 6. Graphite, crushed ground, powdered container bulk, and 7. Graphite containers which may result in the contaminations. 8. Greasy or oily products in bulk, the containers which would result in contamination, such as metal borings, tunnings, bearings, chain, electrical apparatus, iron shield bars, plates and shafts, machine parts, machinery, pipe and pipe fittings, scrap, tin plate, vehicle parts, including farm implementative tractors. 9. Insecticides, fungicides, including insect repellents, vermin exterminators, poisonous, including in containers or bulk. Peat or peat moss in bulk, tar and tar products in barrels, tar refuse. 12. Acids, 13. Grease, 14. Molasses. Alright, 15. Oils, petroleum products, including compound oils and other grease and petroleum bases. Recording request for the car. I'm probably going to take another copy of this last page and finish up in the next page. We're going to rescan that page and see if we can't read it later.